This guy went to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well, but instead of getting help, he ended up in handcuffs. Why? Because he yelled at hospital staff, and somehow that turned into a terroristic threat charge. Sounds crazy, right? All he did was raise his voice, and now he's sitting in jail like he's some kind of criminal. Now the big question is, how will the judge respond to the prosecutor's report? Let's see how the case unfolds.
So you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On August 1st, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a disturbance call, and upon arrival, the complainant and security staff stated that the defendant made threats to kill everyone, broke 2 hospital monitors, and was acting aggressive towards the medical staff. The complainant stated the medical staff became scared since the defendant stated, "I will kill you all." The complainant stated she was scared for her life since she did not know what the defendant would do next at that moment.
That doesn't sound right because I didn't do that.
We'll give you a lawyer and we can go through this with the lawyer. So did he direct it at a person? Is he directing at the entire world? What?
The statement was only made that "I will kill you all." And it says the complainant stated the medical staff became scared, and the statement was that "I will kill you all." That's all we have from the DMs, Your Honor. And then furthermore, the complainant did state she was the only one at the hospital at the time of the officer's arrival, since the rest of the medical staff had gone through a shift change and she was the only one there. So it's not exactly clear who was there when the statement was made. He just said, "I will kill you all."
All right, so who's it directed to? Just.
I don't even know that.
The DMs does state that the defendant started to act aggressive towards the medical staff.
And
So
I think that's why she was scared, right?
it appears that it could follow on saying the defendant was, the complainant said she was scared and the medical staff was scared since he stated, "I will kill you all." So it appears that it was directed towards the medical staff as he was acting aggressive towards the medical staff.
It appears.
Because there's just two
A
distinct,
hunch.
there's two distinct sentences, Your Honor, where he acted aggressive towards the medical staff and the complainant stated the medical staff became scared since the defendant stated, "I will kill you all."
I thought I already did time for that too.
Mr. Mickish, I'm going to find that there's no probable cause to go forward with your case. But you need to be careful.
Yeah.
Scaring people can kind of hurt them. You know what I mean?
Your Honor, I don't.
Don't. Mr. Mickish, patience goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, when you get upset and when you lose control, that's why we have so many people in jail, because they lose control, they do whatever they want to do, and they don't think, if I do this, what's going to happen? If I say this, what's going to happen? Be careful. All right? All right, just hang tight for me in the back. Not only have I reinstated his bond once already, but now we're working a second bond violation for it. What do I need to do to get your attention, Mr. Thomas? Got it. Yeah, right. Justin,
Yes, Your Honor.
what do I need to do? Put his butt in jail?
I think we've been in felony court this morning, so I don't want you to think he wasn't here. He was.
I don't care about
great.
I care about him continuing to use and continuing to do whatever the hell he wants to do without regard to bond conditions. You do what you want to do. I think I have but one choice, Justin, and to just put him in jail.
Judge, what do you think about some AA meetings or some?
I don't think it'll. When did we order him not to use?
What was the last name again, Judge?
This is Thomas, Mr. Thomas.
Conditions were set in place on October 11th.
This past October, we told him not to use.
The marijuana is negligible, so it's almost out of the system. It was at 0.005, I think. I understand the court's frustration and concern.
If it's been bond conditions since October, we're now nearly April 1st. It's been 6 months. So it should have been way, way gone.
No, it was from the positive. So you admonished him on the positive not to use, and then, so this was his first test since,
February 6th.
right, and so that's what I'm saying. So the marijuana is negligible. I know it's not an excuse, but I don't know that we read all of our bond conditions about alcohol. Now, I know that's not an excuse because he signed for it. I get it. But I do want to point out to the court that the marijuana is basically out of the system. It was like, that's why I'd asked for the levels, but it was like at a 0.05 or 0.05. It was,
Alicia, do you see that?
The levels, Judge, let me see if it's in the email.
it was, I asked for them, Judge.
I know. I saw that you did. What do you do for a living? Where do you work?
Russo's Pizzeria. I'm a chef.
What is it?
Russo's Pizzeria. I'm a chef.
He's a chef at Russo's Pizzeria, and we're in school. So we are being productive members of society.
How do I know that? Am I supposed to take your word for it?
You can take his mom's, Judge. I talk to his mom pretty much on a regular basis.
Judge, if you see that number, however, truthfully, I don't know what that means. But it is a low number. So that's all I have to offer for, but.
Here's what we're going to do, is I'm putting a scram monitor on his ankle, so I know that he's not consuming alcohol.
Yes, sir.
I'm now going to put a GPS monitor and I'm giving you a curfew, because I don't want you out in the middle of the night. I'm giving you a 10 p.m. curfew. If you ever have another bond violation, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to make it so high. Do you understand?
Sir.
I'm sorry.
I will test you again in 2 weeks. If you test positive for marijuana after 2 weeks, then that tells me that you've continued to use, and I'm going to lock you up. Do you understand?
Sir.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe excuse to go back to very important cases.
Yeah, so he's back in 2 weeks to test. If he tests positive after the 0.05 nanograms or whatever the hell it is, if he's still testing positive.
I have
then
nothing,
that's
I
it.
have nothing left to say, Judge.
All right.
I will be speechless.
All right.
And Judge, he would like to have a bond set. It's kind of an odd one, Judge. It's failure to possess the required license for home improvement or residential construction. And basically, Judge, he told me that he owned a construction company, but he's totally blindsided by this charge.
Good morning, Mr. Mazzell.
Good morning.
Your lawyer's asking for me to set you a bond. You
Yes, sir.
now stand charged with, I guess you said, home improvement fraud.
Judge, essentially, that's what it sounds like the allegation is. It's a failure to possess the required license for home improvement.
I have your fraud.
This was in 2020, during the 3 hurricanes that hit Louisiana. And according to City Hall, and we went down to everybody and they said we didn't need one because it was an emergency situation. Everything was flooded and devastated and we were just trying to help out.
My only issue is that this is now a second fugitive case that you have.
The first one was a lady that we did work for.
Let's be careful.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry.
Problem is, Mr. Mazzell, is that, we usually, as a matter of courtesy, I guess, so to speak, we'll give you a chance when you get one fugitive case. But we can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over.
Understood.
Amy, what do you know anything about this?
Yes, so first off, state is opposed to a bond. This particular case is because he didn't have a license, but it originated out of the fact that the complaining witness, after a hurricane, had paid the defendant money to repair her house. He did not do so. The money amount was.
So he allegedly took money for fixing the house and didn't do the work.
Correct, and then when the officers went to go look him up, he didn't have a license under that name, so that's the basis out of that, the basis for that charge. We are, of course, opposed to a bond, given that he has had a prior fugitive case. He was granted a bond on that one, but he didn't actually show up. Looking back at our notes, the only
So
reason.
we gave him a bond, he bonded out and he didn't show up?
No, he appeared,
No.
yes, he appeared in court on that day when you guys provided him a bond. He appeared in our court here in Harris County.
Okay.
The only reason that case was dismissed is because I believe that the main jurisdiction in that case, had recalled their warrant or something of that nature.
But so he didn't turn himself in.
No,
The lady that was charging us, I ended up paying her $21,000. And she dropped the case.
How? I suppose, we can't just take everybody's word for
Well,
what they
but
say.
first off, I did not know that even the warrant existed. So I had no idea. But I ended up paying the lady off. I gave her some money and said, okay, that's good, we're fine. Because I truly didn't think we did a very good job.
Okay.
But may I ask you this? This is an LLC. I have a business, or had a business partner at the time. We were 50-50 in the business. I just wonder why I'm the only one being charged here. I mean,
Facts beyond what I would know anyways. The simple thing about it is that I gave you a bond last time. You bonded out.
yeah,
You didn't show up. And now you have another fugitive case. We can't continue.
I
to do-
bonded
we
out
can't
and I
continue.
paid the lady off and she dropped the charges.
That case was dismissed? Is that
Yeah, the
correct?
case was dismissed.
Not because he showed up like he was supposed to.
I see what you're saying,
He came
Judge.
to court on the day that he was due to go turn himself in Louisiana. I don't know, but I can't continue to do the same thing. The good news for you, Mr. Mazel, is that it's Louisiana. So we have buses coming from Louisiana probably 2 times a week. So from the time that you waive, within the next probably 2 to 3 days, you'll be back in Louisiana to be able to answer the charge. But I'm not going to just continue to give bonds on fugitive cases when you continue to pick them up. Because
Got it?
okay. Has he waived or did he refuse?
to refuse extradition.
Okay, so you need to decide what you would like to do. If you want to waive extradition, I would say probably within the next, 3 days, Louisiana will be here to come get you. If you want to refuse, which is well within your right, the state can get a governor's warrant, but that'll take 90 days. And at that time, they can have you remanded
I could
back.
sit in jail for 90 days. No, I'm not interested in that.
So, but I'll let you talk to James to figure out what you guys want to do, and then you just let me know.
Okay.